Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode, we're going to be going over something that I'm extremely excited for, and that is the Wix Studio. Now, in this video, I'm going to be separating it into three different sections. That is, what is Wix Studio? The second section will be why and when to use Wix Studio, and finally, how to Wix Studio. And in that last section, which I would recommend you to really stay for, I'm actually going to be creating a Wix Studio website entirely from scratch with you. We're going to go over a few different things, check out the different tools, how to do different things that they actually showcased in the Wix Studio release. And we're just going to explain or talk over some of the pros and cons of Wix Studio. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, before I continue, it's worth mentioning that just how I did with the Wix editor, which you should be seeing a playlist somewhere here, after this video, I'm going to be continue uploading videos into this playlist explaining how to do things in the Wix Studio and just going over more things in detail, basically, such as working with databases, adding custom CSS, and so on. So make sure you stick around or check this channel multiple times in order to know what to do. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is what is Wix Studio. Now, before that, let's actually know what Wix is. Wix is what we classify as a DIY web development platform, and basically allows regular people or unexperienced people in the development industry to go ahead and create their own websites with their own images, their own logos, personalize it as they want with like beautiful templates, and it even allows some developers to go in developer mode if you're using the editor and actually add some custom features as well. This is what Wix is. What Wix Studio does, however, is that it targets agencies and developers who are very experienced with web development, who are very knowledgeable about it, and whose main job basically is to create websites for other people. Those people could be people who try to do their websites on their own. But regardless, what Wix Studio does is that it drops all the heavy lifting from you and really allows you to do your own work and personalize your websites and build it for other people at a much faster rate. So to summarize, what is Wix Studio? I think the best way to explain what Wix Studio is that phrase that they have on the website, which is the web creation platform built for agencies. Not built for regular customers, but built for agencies that their whole job is to create websites. So that's what Wix Studio is. Now, why and when you should use Wix Studio? Now, DIY website platforms are some of the things that I actually really like, and I always recommend customers to actually try to do it on their own first. But because they're really good and really quick and really easy to use, that means that there is usually a trade-off. And the trade-off here is that with DIY website platforms, including Wix, Wix does all the heavy lifting from the customer. They manage basically everything, and then they let the customer deal, or the client or the user deal with very tiny things such as colors, images, relatively speaking, also like databases and larger things. But Wix Studio, however, allows you to customize everything. You will be doing, or you could, if you want, be doing the heavy lifting as well. So when to use Wix Studio, I would say as an agency or as a developer who is working on custom features or really personalized kind of websites or enterprise websites, I would say Wix Studio is very suitable for you. If you're a customer or a client who has paint shop or who likes to sell art online, I think using Wix is the only and best option for you, really, because you don't need to be able to do all those customizable options or get really into code at all. Now, finally, we get to the last stage, which is my favorite stage, and that is to actually create a website, or the how-to section of this video, which is how to create a Wix Studio website. Now, as you can see, I'm already enrolled with Wix Studio, so I do have access to it, and I believe they're rolling it out to a lot of people at the moment. And so as soon as I go to Wix, basically, instead of going to the regular Wix editor, what I do is I arrive to this page. And because I am an agency, I also get all these other options on the left side. Now, I'm not going to be going over the admin side of things, like how to create how to add yourself in the marketplace, your inbox, and so on. Instead, I'm just going to go into the technical side of it, which is how to create websites. Now, if you look at this at the top here, you can see that it says all sites 123, And before anyone freaks out, that's not 123 websites that are built using Wix Studio, because it is something that confused me. In fact, none of these websites here have Wix Studio integrated in them. They're just built with the regular editor, and if I click on any of them, you'll just see the regular editor interface over here. And in order to create, it just stays in the same hub, which is Wix Studio, but none of them are Wix Studio websites. So let's go ahead and actually create one. Now to do this, I'm going to click on create new site, just like how you'd usually do it. And over here, we'll get the option to choose how to design your site. You can choose to do it with a blank canvas. You can start using a template, or you can build things with the normal Wix editor. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and click on blank canvas. And it takes a few seconds, but then it loads eventually. And you get this really exciting, there it is. Loading view, which I like. Makes me feel like I'm about to create something great. And as soon as you arrive here, you can see that things are a little bit different. First of all, it's much cleaner. I feel like I can see a lot to work with here. It's like a canvas. I can do whatever. And at the very bottom here, you've got your video tutorials now, not just text documentations that you can always refer to. Over here, you can actually write some comments. And this is the first thing that I'm actually going to talk about, because a lot of people dismissed it, but it's the ability to collaborate with others. As a developer, if I'm working with anyone else, I can come here and write any comments and even style it, leave attachments, and any other developer working with me on the website can view those comments in real time. And so you can collaborate with so many people, and even for people who are studying or students. This is a very good way of learning web development, and I'm going to go over that further as well. And you'll also be able to see other people who are currently online. Currently viewing the editor, which is crazy because in the editor, it can only be one person. Now you're even encouraged to invite people to collaborate with you on the website, and you can just click on invite collaborators. And once it loads, if I had people here added already, I can actually add them and they'll be able to come and view this straight away. Now, let's close this and have a look at some of the more interesting stuff. Now straight away at the very top, you can see that you can view your canvas in a desktop view. You can view it in a tablet view, which straight away just shrinks it and you can see your menu over here and everything changes, or your mobile view. You can even customize things pixel by pixel, or you can simply just drag it. And I think it's limited right now in the mobile, but if I go to the desktop and I reduce it, okay, I think it might be locked. That's where it was changing a few minutes ago. Okay, it doesn't want to stay like this, but it was, so maybe I did change something when I was working on this before. But anyways, as soon as you click on the page here, you get now this inspector. It's over here. And straight away, you can actually change the sizing. You can choose how this scales up or how things in here scale up. You can play around with the background. You can add some images as a background straight away from here. You can also choose how the layout of the page should be like. And you can actually add your own CSS, and we're going to get that in a second. If I keep going forward, you can actually add some margins. And I love that for a very good reason. Now, I'll show you what that does here first, and then we're going to go in it further. But let's say you want specific spacing to be between the content of your website and the screen. So let's say this is a website, and let's just go to something that fills up. And let's say I don't want the entire website, or let's actually go to my website because I think I do have a nice background that I can explain this well on. But let's say you don't want anything on your website to fill the entire page. You can actually go ahead and add margin so that you say, I want my website to be 5 pixels away from the edge of the screen. And I can come over here and I can select this one and I can put some percentage. So let's say I put 20. And now this area or in this grid, there will always be an empty section. And you might be asking, well, why is that useful? And I'll tell you straight away. Now you can see that the whole idea here is that everything should be responsive. And so if I go ahead and add, let's say we add 2 different texts, I'm going to add this one. And then I'm gonna copy it and add it over here. Now let's say I put them side by side, and I'm just gonna add a whole bunch of stuff in it, like this. And I'm gonna bring this over here, and I'm also gonna add things like this. Now, if I go ahead and let's bring them closer. If I bring it closer or bigger or larger, you can see that Wix automatically tries to adjust the spacing between them, which is a good thing. But you can also add your own customization so that you put a limit to how far or how further away from apart they should be from each other. So I can click on this, and again I get all the personalization for this, and I can scroll all the way down, and you can see that it already has some padding here to limit how far it goes. But if I go ahead and actually remove this, so let's say I say 0 and this one 0, you can see that it changes. Now I want to drag it over here, and then I want to actually add some padding between this text and that text. So I can come over here and I can say something like 20. There we go. And now there's actually some padding between this text and that text. And if I go ahead and try reduce it, it doesn't matter how small the screen gets, this will never overlay that one. If I go in mobile view, it will also continue to have the same relatively percentage of difference apart. Let's go ahead and go back here and delete this, and delete the text as well, and go back into our canvas here. Now straight away I can choose the layout, and so I separated my entire section into 2 different sections. And if I want to do even further personalization, I can choose for this specific section to have, let's say, this specific cursor. Oh, okay, sorry. Let's just add anything that shows up. And if I click over here, I can click add image, and let's just select again something completely different. Okay, add image or SOG. Come on. I'm just gonna select anything that shows up. There we go. And that way, if I preview this, you can see that here in this section, it's showing this one as the cursor. But as soon as I scroll to this side, it's actually showing a different cursor. And I know this might be a silly example, but this is just a way of me showing you that you can actually have really personalized stuff. This is stuff that you couldn't do with the editor, or at least without code, but now you can. You can give a completely personalized experience on your website. Again, let's go ahead and delete this entire section. Now, I wanted to quickly show you how you can personalize the UI by all the options that you really get available straight away. But before I continue further, I actually want to show you how you can, another feature that I really like on Wix Studio now, which is the coding aspect. So how does Wix Studio actually do with developers? Now, aside from the collaboration, if I go ahead and look at the code and then click on start coding, it will start setting up developer mode for me. And there is something here that I really do love. Now, first of all, you can actually write your code here, which you would be familiar doing in the Wix editor. You can just write all your code over here. You can also write now you can add a global CSS file, which you can use on your website. But most importantly, which is the cool feature, is that you can actually click on code in Wix IDE. And Wix actually collaborated with Visual Studio Code to give you a very familiar and a very nice IDE. Something that professionals really do use in companies. Now, I don't know why this is in light mode. Oh, there we go. We're in dark mode now. And if you used Visual Studio Code before, which I use all the time, you will know that this is exactly the same, including plugins or extensions, which I actually haven't checked if it's possible or not. But for now, let's actually add some code and see how easy it is to write it. Now you might be wondering, what is the point of this? Why should I use the IDE if I can just use this? And the reason for that is because now, as a developer, now I actually have two screens, but if I drag this to the other screen, it will not work. But what I'm trying to say is that I can actually have this as a completely different page, like this, and work on the code over here. Let's go like this. And anything that I write here straight away reflects over here. For example, let's say I want to edit, or I want to add some code that will get triggered as soon as this page loads. I can click on source and then pages. And over here, we've got the master page, which will change things that can be used for something else. And then this is exactly what I would have if I click here. And you can see that just by highlighting it, it's over here. Now, if I go here and I delete this, you can see that it's in sync. And if I try to write anything here, it says cannot edit in read-only editor. And that's because now anything that I do here reflects. So let's say I type some code saying console.log. And inside of here, we can say something like hello world. And straight away, this also gets printed over here. Now, the best thing is that I can preview this. And you can see that the code that we wrote here is actually effective. It's working. And so for this example, we're actually going to try add a button. And we're going to see how that works. So let's go ahead and remove this. And obviously, by the way, you can add styles now. You can see the configuration. You can add the backend code. If any code related to your website can be dealt with through here, which I personally just think is really amazing to do. You can even create new files from scratch. Let's go back to the home page and let's go ahead and click on the plus. And I'm going to go ahead and just add a button. So I'm going to click on buttons and you can see some styled buttons. Okay, they're the same. So let's just add a get started button. Now with Wix Studio, it's exactly the same as everything else, except you can now, again, on each element, add some comments directly. And let's close that. It was just an example. You can also copy and paste it. You can see straight away add-ons that you can add to the button from the editor. And you can add anchors. You can save it as an asset. So let's say I designed this button and I really like how it looks like. I want to be able to use it straight away on any other website that I use. All I need to do is add it as an asset basically, and I'll be able to do that. Now the good thing is that I can also have quick options to rotate it. And you can click on accessibility. And I love this because adding accessibility allows you to actually personalize your website to be suitable for a more diverse number of users. If someone has reading inability, or if someone can't see, if someone would like to let the button be spelled out basically because they're blind, you can now do that and help really make your website visible to so many different people. Let's go ahead and close that. And I just realized that it's actually showing that I'm on the editor, and it also shows me as someone who's on the IDE session, which is this. Anyways, let's go ahead now and click over here. Now when I click on the button, you can see that we have different scaling options. So you can keep it fixed, you can scale proportion, which I'm assuming the size of this will change. By the way, I haven't experienced everything. I can click on this straight away and it will make it go all the way to the left. This will make it go all the way to the right, and it's just hidden right now. But if I click on here, it should be to the right. Let's go ahead and make it centered again. And if I click on this, again, you can actually change the text alignment straight away. But now you also have the option to add a margin, and you can change exactly where it is, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I'll just remove that. Now, as you keep going down, you'll find that there's more options for the design, such as the design of the button when it's on regular state, or when it's in hover state, or disabled state, and so on. But you can also personalize things like the spacing of the actual text compared to the button. For example, I can increase this all the way to the max, and now you have some spacing inside of the actual button, so between the text and the button itself. Now, and again, if all of this, which I doubt it, but if all of this is not enough for you, you can still add your own custom CSS to manage this and have your own experience. Now, something else that I want to show is actually how you can add or work with some code on this. Now, you can see I'm going to go over here and I'm going to delete everything that I wrote so far. I'm going to save this. We're going to come back. We've got nothing. Now, if I go ahead and click on that button, you can see that you've got your typical or your Wix editor ability to add some actions, but they're blocked because we're in that IDE now. So let's go ahead and close the IDE for now. And we'll just load until this updates. It just takes a second. We've got the... Now click on start coding. And I do still prefer adding the actions through here. So I can click on this and click on click. And now we've got the function. And we can say something like console.log I have been pressed. Now, if I go ahead and click on code in Wix IDE, and perhaps we can actually do that cool thing we've been doing where we separate the pages. Okay, my computer's not helping me, so we can push it back. Once the IDE loads, I'm going to show you the coolest feature in my opinion, which is how AI is used in Wix Studio, and it's used heavily, by the way. Now, this is actually going to be the last thing that I'm going to show in this video, but I'll show you a whole ton of other tools that are basically AI based in the Wix Studio. I'm going to close this and I'm going to try get this again. Let's go to the IDE. There we go. Now I'm on the code for this page basically, but what I want to show you is if I go back and we click on this Wix AI assistant. Now it's still in beta, but we have a few different options here. We can click on generate code, we can click on fix my code, or look up documentation, which is very important, by the way. For now, let's actually have a look at fix code because I think it's easier. Now I'm going to actually stuff up my code here on purpose. So I'm going to say something like console.print instead of console.log. And I'm going to copy the entire button code. I'm going to paste it over here and click on this. So let's see what it says. To help fix the code, tell me about any errors or problems you are having. Add information about errors or problems when running the code. Well, my code is meant to print, but instead it does not print. I'm not too sure what's the best way to describe the problem. Let's have a look. I'll be very happy if it gets this correct. Okay, the issue with your code is that you're trying to use console.print, which is not a valid method in JavaScript. The correct method of printing to the console in JavaScript is console.log. Oh my god. Here's the correct code. In my opinion, this is insane, and it even knew exactly where the code was, and it automatically, once I clicked insert, it automatically fixed it. That's beautiful. That's insane. It even tells you this will print the message I have been pressed to the console when the button is clicked. Please note that this will not print the message on your web page, but in the browser developer console. If you want to display the message on your web page, you would need to manipulate the DOM or use UI elements provided below by Wix. I don't know about you, but this blows my mind. Like, the fact that this works and it works that good is insane. Let's go ahead, before I lose my mind, let's go ahead and actually try the generate code one. So let's have a look here. Describe what the code should do. So I'm gonna say that I want to hide button 1 when the page loads. Alright, let's do this. I think this will be cool if it works. Okay. So to hide a button when the page loads, you can use the $w.onReady function in combination, which is this, in combination with the hide function. The function ensures that the code inside it will only run once the page has finished loading. The hide function will then hide the specific button. Here's a simple code snippet that you can use. This code should be placed in the page code where you want the copy to be hidden. Let's go ahead and insert it. Okay. This will work, but let me try something here. So if I put my cursor over here and I click insert, okay, so this inserts it wherever my cursor is, so just something to pay attention to, because if I put my cursor here and click this, yeah, it's going to paste it exactly or where my cursor is. So just watch out you're not like hovering over your code or anything like that. And the one thing is that I didn't recognize that I already have an onReady function, so it created another one. This is too amazing. It blows my mind. I'm just saying. It's pretty cool. It even goes further and says, in this code, hashtag button1 is the ID of the button you want to hide. Make sure to replace button1 with the actual ID of your button. That is the actual ID of my button. You can find the ID of your button by hovering over it in the editor. This code will hide the button as soon as the page loads, and then it gives you other or further suggestions. This is beautiful. In my opinion, this works perfectly. Let's go ahead and just remove the other ready because it's annoying me. And let's go ahead, save this, and check out if this actually works. So let's go ahead and click preview, and it works. The button is hidden. Amazing. Beautiful. All right. So this was basically a very quick look into Wix Studio, why you're meant to use it, what is it, some cool features and options in the Wix Studio, and basically this playlist will consist of many videos or many tutorials on how to use the Wix Studio. This was just an overview, some cool features and so on, but we're gonna dive deeper into each single option in Wix Studio. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to view this playlist again, as I will continue to upload videos on it. See you in the next episode.